I'm Michael Barclay. I live in Washington, D.C., and I'm a service architect for defensive services at Spectre Ops. It's been great so far. I got in on Saturday to beat the jet lag, and so far just been kind of enjoying my time near the beach and trying some good food and walking around and talking to people. Yeah, so if you're familiar with tactics, techniques, and procedures, frustration of mine has always been that there's not a really great coherent definition of what exactly a procedure is. Sometimes it's a tool, other times it's a command with specific command line arguments, other times it's just a generic description of how to approach a technique. And I built a web app called Cartographer that is meant to kind of flush out a layer below procedures that allows us to better compare distinct procedures for a given technique and make better decisions about offensive tradecraft selection as well as detection engineering tasks. The main takeaway would probably be that we need a better way to compare distinct procedures for a given technique if we want to make better predictions about what offensive tradecraft is likely to be employed in our environments, as well as how to defend against that, and on the offensive side, about how to better select tradecraft to use in a given operation or engagement, and when to actually build new tooling. Oh, that's a good question. I mean, for me, it doesn't really come up a lot in my day-to-day. I think besides using maybe things like ChatGPT just to ask general questions and get some leads on where to go with whatever we're working on, but I don't think it has a huge impact. I think there is some fertile ground for new offensive tooling in tradecraft related to like actually attacking large language models. I think that's going to be an interesting area once companies adopt more and more of these large language models to carry out the tasks that they already carry out manually, right? But as far as helping me to do my job, not so much, but it will definitely be a target, an attack surface for us going forward. Potentially, I mean, I think it can be helpful with kind of zeroing in on research questions, for instance, if you're not sure where to start on, how some specific component of the Windows operating system works or something like that. You can ask it these general questions and it can put you in the right direction as long as you kind of double check what it's actually telling you to make sure it's true. Oh, yes. So this is a very loaded question because I think there's a lot of different definitions of what purple teaming is, and it's another thing that we don't have as an industry a good coherent definition of what purple teaming actually means. But I think it's very helpful for me. It is about testing all of the different implementations of some set of attack techniques that you're concerned about, right? And I think in order to do that, you really have to dig into the super granular details of what actually makes up a given attack technique, and that can be really, really difficult because it gets very confusing very quickly. Hopefully, like the web app that I built and I'm presenting today will help with a lot of that stuff because it does kind of provide that means to compare different procedures, but I think it's a useful exercise to go through in general for sure. It's been great so far. I mean, today's day one, so I've just been kind of practicing my talk, going over my slides a little bit, but I've been talking to people and everybody's really great. It's a very nice venue. There's good food, so I have no complaints.